ones for everybody. I'm just waiting for We're live. Okay, what's up, everybody? We are live from Midwest Preparedness Project Festival 2026 Spring Edition. My name is Scott Armstrong, coming at you live. All right, you guys ready? Okay. If your contact list is organized by skill set, you might be a prepper. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. If you've ever bought a gun you didn't need because the ammo was on sale, you might be a prepper. There you go. That's a good one. That's a good joke right there. Okay. If your kids have ever been grounded for telling their friends at school how much food you have, you might be a prepper. Okay, there you go. All right, guys. So I'm very excited here. We're going to be kicking things off. I've got the guests that are going to be speaking throughout the day coming up here. And I'll bring my first guest up, Bernie. Come on up here. He came all the way from Great Britain, and he is here to, and if you want to come up too, Miriam, come on up, Miriam. Good to see you, Bernie. You guys have a seat, and then his friend Miriam. We are gonna. If you guys want to share a mic here, so if you guys, now sometimes these mics cut out, so just kind of be. If you hear your voice out there, you're good. If you don't, give it a little tap and just kind of keep going. Bernie, I'm going to hand it to you for first here. Thank you. So we just met a few minutes ago, and you traveled a long way to get here. And I would say hold the mic right up, but you traveled a long way to get here. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what brought you all the way to Kansas.
Well, long-standing friendships here in Kansas specifically. But my wife and I used to come, starting in 1991, we decided we would make several visits, which we did. And along the way, we gathered a few friends and some really close friends here in Kansas, which Miriam is one. And that's why I gravitate back here every year, really, if I can.
That's great. Well, we're pleased to have you. So, from what I was introduced to you, like you're, I'm very curious because I hear a lot of things, and over in America, we see a lot of footage of what's going on in Europe and Great Britain, and it's like, but to hear your account of it, I guess, I hear, there's a lot of parallels to what's going on here in the United States. Absolutely. And I think it's a global agenda that's happening. But in your words, what are you seeing, and what kind of just lay the groundwork for us here that are watching?
Well, we've been heading in the wrong direction for a long time. And ever since, even in Margaret Thatcher's time, the Conservatives have really, in all but name, disappeared from the face of the earth. They are not conservative anymore. And I think that is why, partially why we are in the mess we're in. Because there really is, until Nigel Farage has come on the scene, and he's been there for several years now, firstly with the Brexit campaign and referendum party. We actually on the right now have a voice.
Okay.
And it's becoming more prevalent, and with yesterday's results, or Thursday's results with the local elections, it's shown there is a massive swing to Farage and reform.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it's going to come back. But we've turned on our backs on God for a long while ago. And that's why we are in the mess we're in.
It's interesting because here in the United States, it's been, so we had obviously Donald Trump won the presidency. And then it's like after that, it's been, even the right wing has been fractured completely in so many different ways. And now it's like there's an emerging even more extreme far right movement, like the America First movement, where it's like, okay, Trump, we tried it, but it's like, dude, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't want to get on my soapbox here, but it's like, okay, but now we have like an even more extreme America First movement happening. Do you see that and happening in Great Britain, where it's like you have the right wing, but then you have like a faction that's
that undoubtedly that is the case. Absolutely. It's not as prominent as it is coming over here yet. But there is a break off, in my view, with a party called Restore Britain.
Okay.
And Rupert Lowe is the head of that. He's a good man.
Yeah.
But I think he's attracting the wrong kind
of
person to be with him. And I think they're ultimately going to go that way. Whereas Farage, for want of a better term, is more to the center.
Sure.
And won't. The problem is with these things as it is here. We have our own deep state.
Oh yeah. You guys invented the deep state, dude. The British intelligence, dude. Oh my God. Hey, I got to give you props for sure. MI6, British intelligence, dude. Like you guys.
Spot on, actually.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like you guys taught our deep state how to run things, dude. So like, I mean, I got to give credit.
Well, while I was with the British Army, I did flirt with intelligence for a while. As well. So yeah, I mean, I know.
Or Cecil Rhodes. South Africa. Look into this, you guys. Read the last will and testament of Cecil Rhodes that lays out the New World Order plan for it was still happening right now. And you can make the argument that because basically what that said is that the British said, okay, America's this rising industrial war country. We're going to take a step back. We're going to let them do all the heavy lifting, whereas we still control everything with the Bank of London. Like we're over here, we still control everything, but we're going to let America be our attack dog. And we're still seeing that plan being carried out to this day.
Although actually with this current stuff in the Middle East, that is coming to an end. Trump has already castrated, shall we say, the Lloyd's group.
Okay.
Who had 40% of marine insurance.
Yep. That's it. Lloyd's of London. Yep.
On this so-called war.
Yep.
Which is a limited military intervention, by the way, not a war.
Sure.
But Trump has superseded them.
Now that is an interesting element. I hadn't made the connection about the Lloyd's of London being subverted through this whole situation.
And deliberately.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that is the case. But by getting together with the heads of insurance companies in this and getting cover for the ships through the Strait of Hormuz, then Trump has actually taken them right out.
Interesting.
And that goes deeper because London, of course, is a big world financial center.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still into slavery and all sorts of things.
Absolutely.
A lot of this investment is going in there. And Trump is doing such a fantastic job that he's taking a lot of that away.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm going to look into that.
People don't see the bigger picture.
Yeah, apparently not. I'm going to look into that because that is a big part of the picture.
Yeah.
So tell me more about what you're seeing, boots on the ground. I know you talked about the replacement migration seems to be a big aspect of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Now, when I say replacement migration, I think it's a funny, interesting concept because if you go on Instagram or if you go on Twitter or at least the old Twitter, and you were to say replacement migration, you'd get your account taken down. You'd be called a racist. You'd be called a bigot and all this stuff. But you can go to, I have it right here. I was doing some research before. You can go to UN.org, okay, the United Nations, UN.org, and here's a document on the UN website called replacement migration. And the subheading is it a solution to declining and aging population? So this is a UN agenda. This is a global agenda to flood Western countries with migrant populations. And that is done through destabilizing their home countries. Okay. And so this is a big plan, and it is a UN plan. Okay. So it's not like I'm racist. It's like so much of these things that we get called a conspiracy theorist or whatever, a radical or racist for discussing. It's like we're using their words. Like this is what they call them. It's not me. It's not me calling them these things. It's them, dude. And so it's like it's a very sneaky thing that they do. So anyway,
doing a lot of sneakier things. Right now, actually, they're still pressing for this new world order. They're still pressing for mandatory vaccines and lockdowns, and the UN is really trying to go full pelt in bringing these things in as standard. Like they did with international law. You know, which our current prime minister won't move on because he's scared stiff of the Muslim community and for falling foul of international law. He's a lawyer himself.
So let me ask you this. So here in the United States, we have the luxury of having freedom of speech, right? So we can say these things. And not get punished. But I understand you have people like Tommy Robinson, for example, that speak out about these things, and then he spends half of his time in prison. So how do you navigate that over on your side of the ocean when you have a problem with these things and you choose to speak out against them, and then the weight of the government, the establishment, come and arrest you for it? You can't even make a meme about it.
No, you can't. And,
Tell us about that aspect.
And there is the well-known incident with Graham Linehan, who made some remarks on a podcast over here. So I better be careful. And then when he got
that's so crazy they can't even come in over here.
That's right.
And voice dissent for the establishment.
And he returns home to be met at the airport by 5 armed policemen.
Check this out. Hey, Great Britain, if you're watching, America says, fuck you, bitch. There you go. I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
He didn't say it. I said it. Fuck you, Great Britain.
So I
There you go.
So I have great...
Yeah, fuck you and your throne. What are you? What are we in like the 18? What are you? No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk about your king that way. I'm sorry. Not going to talk about the king that way. But come on. Dang.
So I'm expecting a committee meeting when I get back.
Okay, cool. As it was me. It was me. Is it? Maybe it's that crazy where you get in trouble for me saying it.
Well, I mean, there have been Christians who have been arrested for street preaching and so on, where they've had the permission.
Yeah.
But the police are interpreting certain hate speech laws the way they want to. And it's not consistent throughout the Isles, except in that most of the police are full of DEI. Didn't earn it.
Didn't earn it, yeah.
And they're rotten from the top down.
Yep.
And so, with the exception of 1 or 2 police women and men, the policy is to clamp down on hate speech.
Hate speech, okay.
You know? And that's whatever they interpret. The law is so badly written. And this was done under the Conservatives years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And this current crop of Marxists, first Marxist government we have ever had. You've had yours under Obama and then Biden. And, of course, we all know that Obama was behind all 12 years.
Oh, yeah, totally. He even said it in his own words. He said, I don't even want to run for a third term. I just want to be in the basement telling the third term guy what to do.
His people were in the Biden administration.
100%.
So it's going to follow on, isn't it? Of course it was him.
Yeah.
And we have our own Marxist in at the moment who has turned the police and the Crown Prosecution Service against the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's largely the problem. And Starmer, or Herr Starmer, as I call him, very often online. I'm surprised I haven't been visited by the police for it already. He, as a lawyer, was in the Crown Prosecution Service pushing the prosecution of soldiers for doing their job.
Okay.
That is still a problem.
Yeah.
And he not only corrupted the Crown Prosecution Service then, but he's turned them against us as Prime Minister as well. And that's one of our big problems here. We do not have freedom of speech. We are effectively a police state.
Yep. I think without freedom of speech, you don't have you're not free.
That's right.
That needs to be the first order of business, I would say.
That's right.
And
the order is a Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment protects the first.
Exactly. Yep. So they kind of go hand in hand.
You know, and if I have any, I mean, getting away from what you've asked me.
Yeah, of course.
If I have any encouragement to the folk here, and as I've said to my friends, they know well, you know, the document that you call the remind me again.
Constitution. Yeah.
Sorry, I have periodic moments where I forget.
That's good.
Things.
That's all right. Our country, our government has forgotten it too. So don't worry.
Well, yeah.
Don't worry.
But
they're like, what is that damn thing called?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Constitution. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, you have this bit of paper.
Yeah.
That is only that if you do not follow it, if you do not pursue it, if you do not apply it to your lives, you'll lose it altogether.
Yep.
As we have done, and that's mainly in our country by apathy. apathy towards God, and then apathy toward the laws of the land, which have been changed, which were one time biblical, now are meaningless in many respects because they're so badly written you could drive a tank through them.
Yep.
And that's what we're suffering from in part. So look after the Constitution. That is a 24/7 job, folks.
Yep.
You know, if they can go after your Second Amendment, and what does the Constitution say about the Second Amendment? It shall not be infringed.
Amen.
You can't touch it.
Yep.
And yet, there's a massive movement to undermine it and to take your rights, not only that right, but all your rights away. We are living in a world at the moment where satanic influence is great. And that's what is happening the world over. This is a matter of good versus evil above everything else.
Yep.
And if you're a believer here today, I want you to remember that whatever is happening, and whether you're liking it or not, God is sovereign. And he is bringing his purposes to bear. We can't see the bigger picture. If we can't see the bigger picture under Trump, who in my mind is doing a fantastic job trying to get this country right again, then you'll never see the bigger picture with God Almighty. In fact, did he not say to Job, canst thou searching find out God? We cannot plumb the depths of God because he's infinite. And therefore, that's where faith and trust comes in. And I try and keep that in mind when we're hearing about the horrors that are going on in the world today.
There you go. Amen. That's a great way to wrap it up. Remember, I want to give you an opportunity to speak, though. I know you're one of the sponsors of the event. Your family is. So tell us a little bit. Just give us the final words. And, yeah.
Thank you so much, Scott. I appreciate it. My name is Miriam. I'm one of the nurses at the Holton Direct Care Clinic. We're a sponsor here of the Midwest Preparedness Project and very excited about freedom medicine, kind of in tandem with everything we've been talking about here. So it is a big movement across the country right now. More direct primary care clinics are popping up everywhere. Dr. Lassie is usually here. I'm kind of speaking on his behalf today, so he's sorry that he can't make it. He says hello to everyone. He started his clinic about 10 years ago, and he started one of the first rural direct primary care clinics in the country. And he became president and founding member of the DPC Alliance. So he's trying to spread that as much as he can. But the goal really is to provide as much sound medical care as we can to people without insurance and big pharma and the government being involved. That's the premise.
That's amazing. I need to talk to you afterwards. I need to see him.
Yes.
Yeah, because I have,
Yeah,
that's
it's
amazing.
Incredible. This is literally my job. I never thought I would find something this amazing. I worked in the system for years, and I went home every day with a guilty conscience, miserable because I couldn't take care of people the way they needed to be taken care of. Wow. And this is a totally different model, and it's so much cheaper, and people are so much healthier. And so to those of you that are wondering, we've had a wait list for a very long time, and we haven't been able to accept many patients. But we are interviewing right now for a new nurse practitioner position, and we would like to expand our clinic up to 500 to 600 patients going forward.
Wow.
So if you know people that are interested, we're going to, Lord willing, we'll be able to start taking them on soon. But we just really want to provide the opportunity to people. And I really think it's kind of this is the future of medicine, really, is to be able to offer this kind of healthcare, because so many people are sick and the system is broken and it's failing everyone. And this is an alternative, I think, that we can offer. So,
do you guys do surgeries, stuff like that? Or?
We do minor surgeries.
Surgeries, okay.
Lots of acute. We have a lot of farmers that are patients that come in with farming injuries. We can stitch them up. We can, to a limited extent, we can cast broken bones, and if you have big lacerations and that sort of thing, we can stitch you up.
Cool. I want to talk to you afterwards. Let's do this. Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you guys so much. And then Bernie, I want to talk to you.
Scott, thank you so much. So appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, guys, give him a hand. That was fantastic. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk more in a little bit. Cool. Okay. Perfect. All right, Sarah, come on up here. I understand you were a speaker earlier. I had another conference call I had to be on, so I apologize I missed your event, but very nice to meet you. I'm Scott. Here's your microphone. So I'm sure many of the people in the live audience here heard your presentation earlier, but now we're speaking to all the people at home. So why don't you give us a little bit of introduction of who you are and what brought you to Midwest Preparedness?
Yes, well, that's a great question. Who I start with who I am?
Yeah. Your name, who you are, all that good
so
stuff.
I'm Sarah Diamond, and my day job is I am a rural development consultant. So I have a grant writing consulting business. So I work primarily with obviously rural communities, but more specifically education and rural healthcare. And I also have a small homestead. And I learned about this opportunity. Actually, I think I found it on a Facebook group and just shot an email, and one thing led to another. So I'm grateful to be here.
Perfect. Okay, so consulting, I heard a lot of different intersections here. Consulting, homesteading, kind of where does that all meet? So you said rural consulting. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I have a background in agriculture. So I feel like one passion and one background has led to another. I went to college and studied agricultural education. And I actually was born, I told the audience earlier, I was born in Chicago. So I come from a very urban background, but moved to Colorado on a small homestead or small acreage, about only 5 acres when I was a kid in the early 90s, and then went to college in Oklahoma, and then I've been in Kansas the last 20 years. So my heart is in rural. I live in a rural community. About 500 people live in the town that I live in, and so, or the area that I live in, and so I'm just passionate about helping small businesses and nonprofits specifically with the rural development consulting piece. But I also have a heart and passion for helping people get started with homesteading.
That's cool.
Somebody made the comment earlier. I asked a trick question, so to speak. I said, how much acreage do you need to start a homestead? And a gentleman said, a windowsill. And that is so true.
Exactly. Well, so this is very interesting to me. So the channel that we're broadcasting on right now is my new podcast. So I like my previous podcast was about all the horrors of the world and current events and all this stuff. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm kind of really sick of this, talking about this. And for me, on my own journey, I've kind of gone on my own entrepreneurial journey where I started, I was kind of just I was basically running my own little handyman business for a long time. And then I saw an opportunity to help other people in the trades with their marketing, because they're really bad at that. So I basically started a brand new business at the beginning of the year, right? So my passion now is all about entrepreneurship. And so now you say you're helping small businesses, right? Small business owners. So tell me about, so now that's what this show literally on this channel is called. I Fired Myself. It's about interviewing people about their journey from maybe like the 9 to 5 or having a paycheck job into entrepreneurship. So what kind of small businesses do you typically work with then?
So I work with small businesses. Some of my clients are women-owned businesses, but not all of them. When I say small businesses, could be a lot of different things. It could be I work with municipalities too, so with city populations, but small businesses, it could be a farm or ranch. I mean, there's so many different things and some of my clients are, I have on a monthly contract, and then others I help on a one-time project basis. So lots of different types of landscapes with that. Healthcare facilities. I'm just so passionate about, there's so much opportunity in rural communities, and there's so many gaps in rural communities. And, they need funding or they need resources, and they don't know where to start. And so that's where my education background, I feel like this ties in, is not just helping people, but helping connect them to resources they may not otherwise have known about.
Yeah, that's fascinating, because I think like a lot of people that may be interested in starting a business, they think, well, I can't do that because I need like hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a business. And it's like, so that to me is one of the areas that I find so fascinating. Like I talk about how like you can literally start a business with like a tape measure and a pencil, and you could like, and then like a drill, and you can like hang curtains, for that could be your business. So for like less than $100, you can start a business, right? So tell me about some of that, about your view on how there's like this mystique around what it takes to start a business, and then the reality of it.
Yeah, so I would agree. For most of my life, even into adulthood, I thought, oh, you have to be rich
Yeah.
in a business. And
Yeah.
I think that's the mindset. I don't know that that's the mindset for most of the majority of the population, but that was my mindset for a long time. And I just didn't have those resources. Well, about 10 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago, one thing led to another. I started a part-time opportunity writing grants for small profit while I was still 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job. And I realized a passion that I didn't realize I had. I had that research background from being in grad school and education and working and helping with people. And I thought I could do this for other organizations. And I've always been interested in entrepreneur and owning my own business. But again, I had that mindset, well, you have to have, well, that's not the reality. I don't have an office. I work out of my home. I don't even meet with, I meet with people via Zoom. I also meet with people in coffee shops. The reality is that you can start with, something very small. As far as my homestead goes, I made the comment earlier joking about, with my homestead, it's a small 20-acre homestead, about how I'm going to start a firewood business. And I just bought a chainsaw a year ago.
That's right.
But there's my point in saying this is you don't need to have this major overhead. You don't have to take out a lot of expenses or a loan. I'm doing things that I already have the resources to do and see where it goes and not be let down if it doesn't. Try something different.
Perfect. So let's talk about the homestead a little bit. So how have you positioned that as a, are you using it to make money, or is it just more for your own sustenance? Or tell me about your homesteading side of the venture.
Yeah. So my homesteading is definitely, I say a hobby, but it is also something that I'm working towards turning more into business. And so I do have an LLC, a business as part of my farm. But for right now, it's really just a hobby, and I want to turn it into something bigger, that people can come and I can give workshops like this, and I can use my consulting, and people can have small events. And, even though it's 20 acres, I have this brand new, beautiful building that was on the property that I purchased adjoining my property. And so I'm seeing the opportunity and trying to figure out, okay, how can I piece together my passion again with what I already have? And I don't have a lot of money to just, go out and do that. But what can I do now that can help me fund the next step and fund the next stage? And, I have people come to me as a consultant asking, well, they ask, well, what's the first step? I said, well, what is your plan? And they just look at me like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I said, well, you don't have to have a plan, but what is your vision? Start with an idea and put together some steps on how you're going to get there, and don't feel overwhelmed with what you need to accomplish.
Okay. So what sorts of challenges have you ran into on the homestead life? Like, I know that's like, for me, I haven't quite taken that plunge. I still live in the city, you know what I mean? But I've helped out on certain farms and stuff like that. And I know that the unexpected always occurs. So what sorts of challenges have you had to overcome so far?
Yeah, well, I've only owned my particular homestead for about 2 years.
Okay.
And so, fortunately, have not had a lot of challenges. But, I live on the farm as well. So, simple challenges of, I had an insurance or a claim, and my air conditioner broke, and, having to fix that. And so that created issues there. But, we have lots of wildlife where I live. It's rural property, but it's also river property. And so, just the challenges that I think many rural folks can relate to is, chickens dying and, those kinds of things, and unpredictable weather. I also, with the river property, a lot of my property I talked about earlier in my conversation is in a floodplain. And so, not going to, I haven't had that as an issue, but those are always things that I need to be thinking about and part of my planning for my business as it grows. And what can I do? What do I need to work around with that?
Okay. Now, do you lean into the social media side of things at all? Like, have you started a YouTube channel for the farm yet, or anything like that?
I have not started a YouTube channel, but ironic enough, I have started working on a podcast myself.
Okay, cool.
And so I'm very, very excited about that. I'm about a third of the way there. I want to record about or have about 9 different segments or episodes, and just visiting, connecting folks, rural communities, education, healthcare, religious institutions, bringing people together, because we all have something to contribute. When we talk about relationships and connecting people, even people who farm or homestead, there's always something we can all learn from each other. And so I think that's important, especially in rural communities.
Perfect. Well, I always recommend doing a YouTube in conjunction with an audio podcast, because like I would say record the video aspect of it, because you can always export an MP3 separate, and then there's your podcast. But then you also, it's just like 2 birds with 1 stone. So basically you have your YouTube and your audio at the same time.
Okay,
so
great advice.
Definitely a way to go. So yeah. But anyway, okay. So tell the folks how they can follow you, how they can find you, how they can support you, all that stuff.
Yeah. For now, my podcast is not live, but you can always find me at diamondgrants.com.
Okay.
And I also have a Facebook page and an Instagram page as well. On Instagram, you can find me at Dr. Sarah D. Diamond.
Okay.
And at Facebook, Diamond Grants and Consulting.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Very cool. All right, give it up for Dr. Sarah, everybody. Woo! Awesome. All right. Jake, all right, Jake, come on up, man. Jake from, what is it, First Person Prepping? First Person Prepping, dude. Okay, here we go. Did you hear my prepper jokes earlier?
A couple of them.
Okay, there you go. See, there you go. I can tell you the ones I had from yesterday.
They hit a little close to home.
They see you, so we definitely know your prepper. What was the ones from yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, if your delivery driver dropped off a box and said, "Dude, what's in that?" You said, "Just some books." You might be a prepper. You see what I'm saying? And if your kids know the difference between 556 and 223 before they know their ABCs, you might be a prepper. So those are from yesterday. But anyway, have a seat, man. All right, cool. First Person Prepper.
Yep.
Yeah. Where you out of?
First Person Prepping. I'm in Kansas.
Okay.
Kansas City region.
Cool.
And the idea behind my YouTube channel is I do instructional videos.
Okay.
That are all from first person view, and I do as little editing as I can. So it's all just like, if I'm going to show you how to do something, start to finish, as concise as I can make it, and no skip steps.
That's awesome. So you have like a GoPro, like a chest rig, or do you use the meta glasses, or how do you do it?
Yeah, so I started with just like a little chest rig for honestly my phone.
Okay.
And now I've got meta glasses, but I'm still working on the hardware there. I need to invest in a proper camera.
Okay, cool. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Okay, well, I'm gonna check your channel out, because that's genius. That's a really good approach, because it's like, it's one thing to give the instruction, but then it's like, here's what it's gonna look like as your. So what? Give me some examples of some of the topics that you cover.
Well, so I specialize in ham radio and emergency communications.
Okay.
And the reason why
ham radio. I was telling my gal we need to get into ham radio.
And the reason why is because it took me a long time to learn this stuff, and I realized that if I wasn't interested in the super hyper technical electrical engineering side of it, I could have taught myself how to do what I needed to do in like an afternoon. So the idea was, I'm going to make this YouTube channel that just teaches you, like, as a prepper, as someone who's into emergency preparedness, you don't need to know all of the complex impedances and phase angles and all of that. You just need to know how the radio works and how to operate it. And I'm going to show you start to finish off grid in a realistic scenario how you can do that and make radio contacts hundreds or thousands of miles away.
There you go. That's awesome, man. Okay, so have you always been into prepping, preparedness, or give me the backstory? Was your family a family of preppers, or?
I come by it honestly. My grandpa and my uncle were into they did rendezvous, like 1880s mountain man reenactments.
Oh, cool.
And there's a sort of survivalist sort of tinge to it. And my uncle kind of got into it from that kind of perspective. He wanted to be able to just kind of go out in the woods and live off of the land and sustain himself. And I got interested in it from there, but I'm not quite that hardcore. So I'm a little more techie and a little more prepper. I kind of got the idea from him that, maybe the world isn't super stable, and maybe I ought to be able to handle myself if things don't work out nice enough that I have to skip my morning Starbucks latte,
yeah. See, that's worst case scenario right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For this one over here. Jeez. Yeah. So, okay. So, How was the ice storm here during January? I heard some people talking about how it was pretty rough. Did you guys get hit pretty hard? Did you have any power outages or anything like that?
Hail this year.
Okay.
Actually, my father-in-law's had to replace his entire roof and a couple of windows and siding, and it was intense. But
that's crazy.
We didn't really lose. I didn't lose power much this year, but a couple of years back, it was just some trees in the neighborhood. But yeah, I actually am excited for when the power goes out.
Totally.
Well, not just for the prepping thing, but also all of a sudden all that radio interference just goes away.
Okay.
So my gear works way better.
Interesting.
Because the neighbor's plasma TV isn't blasting interference at
me.
Gotcha.
So. Yeah. We just in Nashville, like in the city, the whole city was out of power for most of the city for over a week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty significant situation. And so I definitely got put to the test on that one to see my preparedness. And then my focus was my dog, making sure she was warm, and we just bundled up and stayed hunkered down, and it was all right. But
days
it was intense.
Gets a little squirrely.
It's
when
wild.
People's refrigerators start going bad.
Yep. I still had cell service.
Yeah.
So I can see on Facebook and next door all the neighbors complaining and this and that. And it's like okay, bro. It's like so when you get a dose of reality of like what it's actually like in a situation like that, it's like to me I was comfortable. Like I made it through, had plenty of food, power, all that stuff. But not everybody was. So
yeah, for sure.
So okay, so going forward, like what is your so we've gone through the lockdown situation, we've gone through possible World War III on the horizon. Like what are you preparing for specifically going forward?
Well, I feel like it's every week there's a new thing in the news, and it could always be something else. And
since we've been here, it's aliens now. Have you seen that?
Well,
have you seen that? You see that? Like, oh my God.
And the analogy I give is I've been feeling like we're like 3 or 4 months or 6 months away from something crazy for like the last 5 years.
I know, me too. Like the economic collapse, like the dollar is going to collapse, like all this stuff. Yeah.
And it's like there's what's called the shepherd tone. It's like an auditory illusion where it sounds like it keeps getting higher pitched forever.
Yeah.
Which is impossible. But it's like I feel like that about my life. So I've learned to just be like, all right, I don't know if something's going to happen. I don't know when. Nobody knows when. I'm just going to try and be as ready for as flexible as I can get. I mean, I think civil unrest is kind of what I'm most worried about at the moment. But I mean, our power grid's super fragile.
It is.
And, I want to have the skills to like, if the power goes out and my phone doesn't work, I want to be able to know, like, how bad is it? Is this just a Kansas City thing? Can I just chill?
Yeah.
Or do I need to be heading for the hills because this is the entire country and, resupply is not coming, Yep. So I kind of look at it like, if I'm prepared for that kind of scenario, I feel like I'm kind of prepared for most things up to that,
Yeah, which was kind of weird about the power outage that we just went through, because it's like we still had cell service. Like everyone still had their freaking Netflix and their YouTube and everything. And it's like
generators that'll run for probably several weeks.
Yeah, and so it's like, to me, I'm like, is this the apocalypse? But then I'm imagining a situation like you're describing where it's like, okay, now there's no communication too.
Yeah.
Okay, and everyone's in the dark.
Yeah.
And no one knows what's going on next door. And like, when does the marauding start happening? Like when your neighbor who has zero preps whatsoever, like what are they capable of? Just your regular dude next door. Like what are they capable of? Especially if their kids are hurt or starving. Like what? At what point do you go into like panic mode? Right.
Well, it's like you hear stories of disasters where the neighborhood bands together. And they work as a team, and they can solve some of these problems, and people don't lose their humanity. And then you hear stories of things going the opposite way. And I think it probably depends on, how well you know your neighbors, how self-starting and hardworking your neighbors might be. And, I'd love to be in this scenario where I've got enough good relationships with my neighbors and I can offer something to them without having it come out of my own family's mouths,
Yeah.
And be useful and work together. But who knows?
It's tough. It's tough, man. Cool.
You got to be ready for either option.
Exactly. Well, why don't you tell the people where they can find you, how they can follow your channel, how they can support you, and all that good stuff?
Well, I'm on YouTube at First Person Prepping. I got a booth right over there. I've got some of my communications equipment set up, including a HF antenna and a receiver. So if you want to come over and ask me about how it works, play around with it a little bit. As far as support right now, I'm selling radio kits that's designed to be a start to finish Just buy the kit and read the instruction manual, and you'll know how to operate it.
That's awesome.
It comes with a little bit of one-on-one instruction if you need it. But I'm starting fairly small, and I've only been doing this for maybe the last 6 months or so.
Cool, man.
So
well, we need more of you
still
out
in
there.
The early phases.
That's great, bro. All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. We'll come say hi. All right, man. All right. We got more. We got more people. One more. Okay. Grunt. Okay, cool. All right. What's up, man? Come on up. What did you say your name was? Randall. My name's Scott. Very nice to meet you. Here's your microphone. Come have a seat. So we're just keeping the gravy train rolling here, folks. I'm loving this. Go ahead and have a seat. So tell us about your channel and what brought you to Midwest Preparedness.
The YouTube's called Grunt Proof. I'm just an old Army infantry guy. So pretty much talk about gear, tactics, outdoor stuff, some of the preparedness stuff. And I'm not sure why I'm here.
Okay.
But I'm going to try to make it interesting.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're in the right place.
Yeah.
You're definitely amongst friends. What do you think about that 12-gauge bullpup up there, dude?
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
That's pretty sweet. Did you buy any raffle tickets already for it?
Not yet.
Okay, well, don't, and all of you do not. No, actually, I'm saying that selfishly. Don't buy any more raffle tickets because my raffle tickets are sitting at the top there. But no, in all honesty, if you're here, please support Midwest Preparedness Project. Go buy your raffle tickets, okay? Make sure I don't go. No, I'm just kidding. He's giving me the. I'm trying to Okay, but anyway. So how long you been doing the YouTube channel for?
Going on 10 years now.
10 years. Okay, cool. So what got you into it?
Well, it started with gear stuff, outdoor products. I was trying to find stuff on the civilian side, getting away from the military surplus, and I was getting misled. There's a lot of YouTubers who just sell stuff.
Yeah.
And I was looking around trying to find somebody talking about things from our context, and it didn't exist. So I just figured, well, I'll do that.
Okay. Cool.
Pretty much that.
Awesome. Well, I got something that just popped in my head. So I did a series of shows on my little YouTube channel called Bot Stoppers. Matt knows about Bot Stoppers, okay? Now, the idea being that as we move on into the future, in the next 20, 30 years or whatever, let me just say this. So the Second Amendment is designed to, in its essence, in the spirit of it, is to defend against a tyrannical government, right? So we arm the population in order to prevent some tyrannical government takeover. So my hypothesis is that in the next 20, 30 years, any potential tyrannical government is going to be in the form of humanoid robots, drones, AI, that sort of stuff. It's like future technology that's like that conventional weapons that we have access to as civilians will no longer be adequate enough to defend against. So my hypothesis is that in the spirit of the Second Amendment, we as civilians need access to a new generation of weapon technology that includes like EMP cannons and things that can disable and prevent a tyrannical robot government. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm a everybody gets a belt fed type dude.
Yes, so, exactly. That's what I'm.
Like,
but even like let's say I bet you right now the government has a whole underground military base full of like millions of humanoid attack robots that are 20 feet tall. That is like, okay, so how do we defend against these things? Like, so that's what I'm saying. Even a belt fed like RPG, like even if we all had RPGs, would that be enough to defend against it? Like, I think we need to start the discussion. That was the whole premise of the series and the show, is that we need to at least start the discussion about how we as civilians can A, defend against such a thing, and B, how do we like change the laws to make it so that we have access to like EMP weapons and certain futuristic technologies to defend against such a thing. So anyway.
Yeah, I got into this topic talking about drones, the Ukraine drone stuff.
Yeah.
Being a grunt that was over in Iraq and Afghanistan and just seeing how easily we were humbled. Mm-hmm. Thinking we have $500,000 vehicles, all the support, and we feel like we're untouchable, and that's one of the reasons that the conflict over there affects us.
Yeah,
because you feel godlike, and then like a $20 bomb changes that. So, kind of with the tech stuff, I try to remind people that everything requires logistics and personnel and guards, and if there's technology, you need people running that and fixing it, which means you need a base, which means you need food to feed those people. And so I don't know. There's other ways to defeat tech besides going
Sure.
after the tech. It's kind of like, I did a video where I talked about military drones, and I was basically like, you're not going to hide from it, you're not going to defeat it, but if you can find where it lands and takes off.
Exactly. Exactly, dude.
YouTube didn't like that one.
Well, see, no, I mean it's true. It's very true. Like what we're seeing over in like the battling with like Hezbollah, like those guys can just like launch a little drone and like take out a whole fleet of IDF soldiers. Like, and they have the whole U.S. military backing on their side. It's like the weapon, the landscape of warfare is very interesting these days with the drones, right? It's like even like Iran can just like do a little thing and it's like boom. It's like I think that America, it's really interesting to see how the whole Iran conflict is kind of played out, where it's like, yeah, we are America, right? We got everything. And then it's like, oh, it's not as easy as we thought. You know what I mean? Like, it's that sort of thing. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I agree.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you see the future of technology being in terms of warfare and stuff like that? Is it going to move more towards autonomous drone type humanoid warfare, or do you think it's still going to be, have those humans as involved as they have been up until now, or what do you think?
I don't know, man. I try to not to get spun up on all these things that we can't predict or control. I try to control the controllables, but yeah, I mean, we could see some Star Wars level stuff going on with bots and all that, sure, but still, you need a society that's gonna that's gonna back all that. I mean, unless we're talking about these AI machines that run autonomously, but then we're all screwed.
Yeah.
So maybe then we can just go line up at the armory and everybody gets free javelins and ATVs, and
there you go.
Yeah, that's our excuse, and then we just don't give them back.
There you go. Now we're talking. So what are you doing in your own personal life to prepare? What's kind of on your top of your list these days?
I try to do a mixture of everything. You need all the prepping supplies, like what I hear a lot about here. And then I'm a little more tactical oriented, and it's like I'm yelling at my tactical buddies, "Hey, you're going to need food and water." And then I'm also trying to get them to think about that. But then it's also when I'm hanging out with I've learned a lot from this community, and so I just try to remind people, you need to have security too. Mm-hmm. If it's two guys, you're controlling your area, or at least getting eyes on certain things, like that's important too. So I just kind of try to be well-rounded and try to fit in where I can. And, I mean, the YouTube thing, I don't want that to fool people. Like I like to sit there and listen, like here, just listen to experts talk about things and try to absorb it.
Yeah.
And then wherever I could fit in, I'll fit in. But just as well-rounded as I can. And, food and water is good, but I want to have some buddies that I can call up either way and say, "Hey, meet me here in 15 minutes, ready to roll."
Yep.
And hopefully they show up.
Okay, cool. So you said you did a video that YouTube didn't like very much. Like how much have you been affected by censorship, shadow banning, anything like that, based on the topics you talk about from YouTube?
Well, I've been in timeout on YouTube for over a year now.
Okay.
So total shadow ban.
Okay.
I got one strike away from being deleted.
What is it that they're coming after you for? I know that they really don't like Second Amendment type conversations, but do you notice it? Because I know that also, being in the YouTube censorship, being on the receiving end of that too, they'll just flag a video, delete it, give you a strike, but they don't tell you exactly what it is that you did wrong. Like that's part of the whole shenanigans that they pull. But from your perspective, what do you feel like it is that they target you for specifically?
For me, it's the standard 2A stuff, but they won't say you showed a gun or you talked about freedom. It'll be like their policy. They'll enforce their policies, but their policies are ridiculous.
Of course.
So they updated their policy. You can't even show a 30-round magazine in a video.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so,
wow.
I can read the policy and figure it out and adapt because I still want to talk about things. But it's kind of unfair for us little guys because you see the big gun goober guys, they'll break all the rules in the first 10 seconds of their video, and it stays up because they're bringing enough attention.
Yep.
But they'll clearly tell me, they'll give me a mark and say, "This is what you did." I'll go look and I did this with the weapon, and that's a no-go. So,
dude, that's crazy.
But it's usually in a video where I'm also leaning into this kind of topic.
Yep,
and
exactly.
So it's like, that's not what you were really after.
Yep. It's like find me the person, I'll find the crime type of situation. Yeah. So, all right, bud. So tell the people how they can follow and support your work.
Pretty much, you just go on YouTube and type grunt proof. That's going to be me. Grunt proof.
Cool. All right, guys, go give him a follow. All right, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, you as well. You as well. Yeah, I'll see you. What do we got, Bobby? That's it? That's it. All right, guys, enjoy your lunch, and we'll come back at 1, and I think there's a speaker at 1 o'clock. So thank you, guys. Peace.
All right, the next class